Pour toutes vos informations en politique, en économie, en sport, en santé, retrouvez Yves Kenao sur Tempo Afrique TV, la station de l'éveil du continent africain.
Du nouveau à Minneapolis, Tempo Afrique Travel. Vous voulez voyager? Achetez vos billets d'avion à l'agence de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel. Avec l'agence de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, pas de problème de connexion, pas de problème de transfert de vol. Avec l'agence de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, c'est le voyage en toute tranquillité, en toute beauté, de votre maison jusqu'à votre destination. Votre satisfaction est notre plaisir.
Hot mix mixing.
Hello everyone, welcome to another Saturday evening with Ellie Naimal talk show at Tempo Afrique TV. So, I'm pretty sure we have come this far with the elections, and the election has now been put on hold and is currently going on trial. So I want to give you guys a little bit more updates of what's been going on since the election was announced by CNN last Saturday, I believe, and up until today. So it's been 7 days now. We still don't know who is the president of the United States is, and we're still there are still counts that are being made, and there are still allegations going on and a lot of legal actions before the final presidential is decided, which will be decided by the court once everything is done. So it's still a game on continue with the election between Joe Biden and Donald J. Trump. So first, I'm going to go ahead and start with some of the little review of what's been happening since Sunday until today. So on the election night, as everyone probably remember, we watched the counts go up. We watched the state turn red or turn blue, as you guys probably remember. And I don't know if a lot of people probably question it, what really happened there. How is it possible that California and Florida, with some of the largest population, can count their ballots in one day? And counting all the people who have voted for Joe Biden and all those who have voted for Donald J. Trump. And when according to the legal process, counting all the legal votes and disregarding any illegal ballots or any ballots that didn't go through. So it kind of raises a question there. So how is it possible that California and Florida can count their ballots in one day? Well, the rest of the states are 3 states actually that were called out mainly, which is Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Arizona, that were called out and had to go on a recount. And pretty much that night, but couldn't really count all of their ballots and had to recount their ballots and things like that. So this is where everything opens up and now turn into a legal battle, mostly between those 3 states, as we all know. And with the election, we had an estimated population of 72 million people that voted for Trump and 77 million that voted for Joe Biden. Based on the data that you guys see all the time, whether you go on Google or even on Facebook and Instagram, they'll give you guys all of the updates of all the numbers who have voted for each candidate and all the numbers from each state and each county as well. So quick information, I did a lot of my research. So there is a website called everylegalvotes.com. I believe that's what it's called. Let me double check. Yes, everylegalvote.com. So if you go on that website, it keeps all the data of all the legal system and what is currently going on right now. So it gives you the difference between what our status would be like if it was the current status, or what our status would be like if it was with the voter fraud, and also what it would be like without the voter fraud. So it gives those three differences there. So I recommend to check it out for your own research, because I know right now we are all kind of confused and left in the middle, not sure what to expect anymore out of this election. So everylegalvote.com, it shows you what is currently going on in three different aspects. One with the current situation, which they're still counting all the votes, they're still counting all the ballots, they're still going through all the legal process. And also one with the vote fraud, that is if we were to go by the projector winner that was announced by CNN on Saturday, including all the ballots, as they were saying, count every ballot, which includes all the illegal ballots as well. And then what it would be like without the voter fraud, this is where if you only count the legal ballots and disregard all the illegal ballots. So it's currently on trial, and they're still watching that very close. So Arizona has not been called. Georgia has not been called. Maine has not been called. Nebraska is still in process. Nevada is also still in process. Pennsylvania is also still in process. Virginia and Wisconsin are also still in process. So some of these listed states here with the current situation, they are still being in process. There's many states right now that are actually recounting their ballots to make sure that we have the legal ballots counted and the illegal ballots regarded. So the three states that mainly stood out for everyone in the mainstream media, of course, is Pennsylvania, Arizona, and I can't believe I already forgot what was the third state was already. So we're going to continue to watch close with that, but I wanted to give that note to you guys. And then also continue on with what is going on with our election. So as the vote was calculated based on the votes, Donald Trump won an overwhelming victory if you only count the legal votes. He won overwhelmingly with the Latino Spanish vote and also including all the black male votes. So that's still going to bring a lot of questions later. So once we have projected the presidents, I'm pretty sure they're going to go back to what really happened with the election. How did Donald Trump get all of these minority votes and all of the black male and the Latino votes? Okay, when Joe Biden has a lot of followers of minorities as well, which includes like Black Lives Matters and all the other organizations that are behind him. And as you guys can see, Democratic parties are a pretty diverse background party. I mean, we have Alexandria Cortez, we have Ilhan Omar, we have Kamala Harris, who is half Jamaican, half Indian as the vice president, and also the rest of the other minority team. And most of these are kind of in their late millennials age as well. Continue on. So as the election continue, last week the Democrats and the press corps demanding that Trump should just accept losing and concede. So, which didn't play too well with Trump and the Republican fully backing up Trump in the investigation. So Trump decided he was not going to concede. He is not going to concede whatsoever. He will fight this to the end of it. He will exhaust every legal battle that he can get his hands on. And he has a whole team of the Republican Party that are helping him in these investigations as well. So, which is a pretty big win there for Donald J. Trump. As the fight continued, Democrats and the big techs denied the allegation and claims compressing there's no evidence. So as many of you guys probably watched the news, and just to point that out, that the news mainstream media and the press corporates are now kind of having their own collapse, which is a little bit predicted. So they're denying that there is no evidence at all. And with all of the allegations that are taking place in Arizona, in Pennsylvania, there has been some few whistleblowers that came out, and there were even hidden cameras and evidence that shows that people were actually taking ballots and they were circling, they were changing the circles, the markers and things like that. So those are evidence that are out there right now that are currently being looked at. Kayleigh McEnany, who is the press secretary, the White House Secretary Press, came out with a briefing a few days ago, 2 days ago, I believe, and told all the press corporates that we do have evidence. There's a lot of whistleblowers. There's a lot of allegations coming in, and the academia that are being looked at as well. So it's a matter of the court looking into it even furthermore and continue with this battle, and even pressing more lawsuits, and with some of the new lawsuits that are also taking place as well, both in federal and also in the states before it gets to the final decision to the Supreme Court. And as the Democrats continue to press on, there's definitely wouldn't be any accusations without evidence. Well, that was one of the counter response to the press and the Democrats saying that there is no evidence, and continue to fight this, saying that this could possibly be a coup and that Donald Trump is just not willing to concede. So there's a reason there why he is not willing to concede, because there are evidence, and he is going to fight and exhaust every legal process he can potentially get into. So this election is definitely getting more and more interesting as we go day by day, even weeks by week. And who knows how long all this process is going to take. It could be up until December, but Trump has 30 days right now to come up with everything before it could be taken to the final decision in court. So continue on, the frustration grows on both sides. While more whistleblowers speaks anonymously on the allegations and were intimidated by the federal agent for speaking out. When I thought of this and I saw all of this happening, it reminded me of everything I saw was happening in China at the time. So whenever there's a whistleblower that is going against such a very powerful party or a very powerful big tech, there's always going to be some threats. And the fact that these American whistleblowers have to come out anonymously and their voice has to be faded out with the sound, and also just having them talk as a shadow, you can't even see their faces. So that's what's happening with these whistleblowers, and for their own safety, a lot of them right now are being threatened by the federal agency, and it's definitely a huge step and a lot of bravery to come out and speak on these frauds. So claim frauds were ballot harvesting, ballots that post the election deadline, and dead people voting. And some of these claims were definitely found in these couple of the states that were called for a recount. As Arizona, they found a lot of evidence, and Georgia, they found a lot of evidence and was going on a full recount, hands by hands. And it was called out that they need to count every ballot by hands. So with over 1 million ballots, they're still counting right now, and they're possibly predicting that they will have the answer by Wednesday, and that they should be done counting by Wednesday with all the hand counts. Then we will know how many illegal ballots were cast, and also the legal ballots that were counted. So the way they are counting them right now is they're putting all of Joe Biden ballots on one side and all of Donald Trump ballots on one side, and also trying to catch any fake ballots. So with ballot harvesting, what it is that the Democrat Party went around and paying people to sign ballots, basically. And with these ballots, you pay each candidate, or you ask your neighbor what they could potentially vote for, who they could potentially vote for, and they go and pay them money to have their ballots be signed to Joe Biden. Now, the other one is ballots that are past the election day. In the Pennsylvania, they changed the legislation law that any ballots can actually be postmarked after the election. So some of the ballots that were posted after 8 p.m. on November 3rd and November 4th, they were included in the ballot counts as well. And that's what Donald Trump has been announcing, is that if it's not within the postmark, it's illegal, and it's past the election date now when they should send them in. And which with the election rules is anybody who is mailing their ballots at the time they need to mail it in, and has to reach Florida no later than November 3rd. But some of those ballots got there a little bit late, so they have to investigate those and look into those as well. And the other one is dead people voting. So with this coronavirus, we have lost 200,000 people so far. And within this month alone, added on top of it, 50,000 people so far. And with some of these dead people that are voting, they're in their 90s, they're in their 100s, so they have to double check to make sure these people are still alive and who they are. And who knows if these were people that were alive this year, but maybe their life was taken away by corona, or maybe some people have cast their ballots or filled in their ballots because this mail-in voting was earlier through on, and that anybody who probably have voted after their death, you know, their ballot were counted. So they're looking into those things, and it's kind of a little tricky and weird to know that dead people have voted. And so it's just a matter of finding out if these people have voted and then they die after, or we had 90s and 100 years old and above that their ballots were filled out with their signature. So there's still more allegations. So on Wednesday, November 11, as I mentioned before, that was when Georgia was demanded to be recounted by hands, with the deadline of November 20 in order to be certified. All right, continuing on with the arguments and the battles that are going on. When Trump tweeted it on Friday evening, this is the night before the election. Joe Biden should not wrongfully claim the office of the president. I could make that claim also, Trump tweeted, even after he had already made the dubious claim a day earlier. Legal proceedings are just now beginning. So, while Joe Biden is claiming the office and elected to be the president of the United States based on the electoral votes that you guys see, Trump decided he's going to take this battle because something didn't sound right about that, you know. And of course, as the people, we all discovered the next day that, you know, we had no idea that the mainstream media can call the projected president of the United States. I never really understood how that process worked in the beginning, but seeing some of the sworn-in president or how the presidents were announced in the past, they are announced by the court, and then the court sends the result to the mainstream media, and the mainstream media tells the news to everyone, look who our president is. And it's usually with the coverage included as well, where they would have the president be either sworn in and then they speak that night in their podium. They'll have the podium ready, and then they will be certified that night as the president. So we didn't see much of that at all. We saw, the day after, we saw Joe Biden giving a press conference, a press briefing, and it was in a parking lot, just him, his wife, and his team, and a couple of audience that were there as well. So, continue on. In his projected victory speech on Saturday, President-elect Joe Biden called for the unity and the healing, which also reaching out to those who voted for President Donald J. Trump. So, this is what he said, to repeat to some of you. It's time to put away the harsh rhetoric, to lower the temperature, to see each other again, to listen to each other again, to make progress, we must stop treating our opponents as our enemy, Biden said. We are not enemies. We are Americans. So that was his speech on that, and I totally agree. The country is so divided, and we definitely need unity right now at this point. But the questioning part to that is, would the Democrat leaders that are going out there now and continue to push the rhetoric and continue to press on Donald J. Trump and continue to buy these big tech media attacking Donald Trump continuously, that's causing a division, because you still have that 72 million people who supported Donald J. Trump, and basically who are not out there right now destroying cities and also rioting and stealing from their local businesses. That's what's happening on their opponent's side. And I think the world have seen and recognized that right now at this point, the difference between the far left and the far right. When the far left didn't get what they want, they go out and burn cities. And not only what are they destroying, they're destroying their neighborhood cities and also stealing, believing that as a reparation. But when the right didn't get what they want, what did they do? Nothing. Or maybe something, I don't know. If any of you have seen anything what the right did, so far I have not seen them cause any chaos in their own city. So in order to even have this unity that was announced by Joe Biden, is having a fair election and fair judgment on both candidates. That's how I look at it. So when you have the big tech that are being bought by the Democrat and constantly attacking one side, okay, but not saying anything at all of what is going on the other side, it really says a lot. It really says a lot to the people of the United States, okay? And that's my thought on that. With the CNN projecting Joe Biden as the winner, the legal battle began, rising a storm between the two political elites. Right now, the biggest warfare and the bigger battles that are going on is within the political party, okay? The far left and the far right, we're all just kind of silent right now, waiting for something to happen, I believe, or, you know, when are we going to know who our president is, okay? Within the elite parties is the legal battle. Everything is throughout the legal battle. And who knows how intense it is when now there's a naughty list that is out there. I'm just going to call it a naughty list. But yes, this is a reparation or a payment back to the Republicans who have supported Trump, and what they're plan on doing, blacklisting them, basically. And I will get more into details about that shortly, but let me continue on with the battle. So on the Republican side, starting with the fraud allegations, Richard Hopkins was one of the biggest claim postmark in the ballots mailing process. So it was cited by Senator Lindsey Graham. On Monday, Hopkins, 32, told the investigators from the U.S. Postal Service General that the allegations were not true, and he cited an affidavit reciting his counts. So according to the official who speaks on the condition of the anomaly to decide an ongoing investigation, he took that back on a YouTube video post on Thursday denying resenting. And this is what he said. "I'm here to say I did not rescind my statement. That did not happen," he said. So he came out with the allegation, took it back after it was posted. And continue on, Trump without giving in, Republicans held up Hopkins' claim as among the most credible because he signed the affidavit swearing that he overheard a supervision instructing colleagues to backdate ballots mail after November 3rd. So it was documented there, and these are the documents they are using before they could give them to the Graham and the court to Lindsey Graham and to take it to the court. Continue on. Trump campaign gave the affidavit to Graham and turned it to the Justice Department and the FBI to launch an investigation. So that's the next step where all these allegations are taking place right now. And later this week, Hopkins agreed to attach his name on the allegation and was instantly celebrated by the Trump supporters, praising him as a patriot and a whistleblower. They even created an account for him so that, because as he was threatened by the federal agency, they created an account and have raised over $136,000 for his life stake. And so some of the money that are being raised is to protect these whistleblowers, as their life is pretty much on the line right now, being threatened. All right, so continue on with the leftists blacklisting Trump supporters. As you guys probably remember, when Trump said there are fine people on both sides, and the left went nuts with it. So with that statement being said, meaning with fine people on both sides, on the left you have the BLM, you have Antifa, you have Marxists, you have socialists, and these other foreign commoners leaders that are getting involved as well on their side. And then on Trump's side, you have the Confederate, you have white supremacists, Proud Boys, and also can't think of any other people on Trump's side there. So these are organizations that are on one side, all right? And with the left saying that, to condemn the white supremacists, Donald Trump has been condemning the white supremacists. That night when he said, Proud Boys, stand back, stand by. And these are all the Republican teams that are coming out right now with all the legal process, because this battle isn't going to end. So one side has to have their team that supports them, while Joe Biden has the BLM, has the Antifa to support them. So it's a battle that goes on both sides. So as probably many of you guys recognize now, the leftists have the most power of the media and making all of these illusion claims, thinking that the people are with them. What they don't realize is the American people are starting to recognize these things. They're starting to understand what is going on, and that's really if they really are. So with some of the respond with the blacklist, and the Democrat respond to the voter fraud as a racism. Starting with a tweet by AOC on the day before the election projected presidency. This is what she said. Is anyone achieving these Trump psychopaths for when they try to downplay or deny the complicity in the future? I foresee decent probability of many deleted tweets, writings, photos in the future. This was on November 6th by Alexandria Cortez. So with her saying is reminding people that these Trump supporters, they downplay what we went through and all these protests and the things that were going on. I'm sure that's probably what she was referring to. But as they continue to make the threats against the Republicans, on the Trump Accountability Project, this was the project created to have a list of all the Republicans that are put on there, which is a former Democratic National Committee press secretary. All right. Another tweet was tweeted, just reported within the White House staff are starting to look for jobs. Employees considering them should know there are consequences for hiring anyone who helped Trump attack America values. Find out how at the Trump Accountability Project. This is another threat to say that anyone who has supported Trump through this battle, if they win the office, they're in trouble. they're in a lot of trouble. So, well, good luck to that, because I know the political warfare. Both sides, the Republicans are definitely fighting a lot harder this year than they ever done in any election in the history since Abraham Lincoln. So yeah, good luck to that. The organization describes its mission as a sparse website, which we should welcome fellow Americans with whom we differ politically. What I noticed on that is, so most of the Trump supporters, they may not agree with what the Biden supporters say, but they'll say, we respect your opinion. With Biden supporters, they may not agree with what the Trump supporters say, but they will cut you off. That's how divided America has become, because now we're not just divided by racism or by color, you know. We are divided by the political parties. We are divided by either you're with Joe Biden or you are with Donald J. Trump, okay? And the look outcome of this is definitely not going to end well. Whoever wins is definitely not going to end well, because today you have the March for Trump that is going on all over, well, in the West Coast. I didn't look exactly where it was taking place, but they started a Trump march today, and where a lot of these Republicans went there and speak, and also Donald J. Trump is planning on attending there and speaking as well to all of his supporters out there. So to continue on with some of these allegations, as the organization continued to describe their description, but this was those who took a paycheck from the Trump administration and should not profit from their efforts to tear our democracy apart. The world should never forget those who, when we face with a decision, choose to put their money, their time, and their reputations behind separating children from their families, encouraging racism and anti-Semitism, and negatively causing the unnecessary loss of lives and the economic devastation from our country's failed response to COVID-19 pandemic. Coming together starts with acknowledging the truth. These individuals have shattered laws and norms that hurt our democracy, including right now, as they use the levers of government, DOJ, GSA, and state officials to subvert the fundamental underlying tenet that makes America what it is. The peaceful transfer of power from the loser of the election to the winner. The website also made the list of the White House staff, cabinet members, and political appointees across the U.S. government. Over 4,000 names in all together right now. So if you go to this website, this is the description of what this organization is describing their mission has, and the warning that is out there for all the Republicans and the Trump voters as well. So I just thought I'd get it out there so you guys have a knowledge of it is. And I would check it out if you do get a chance as well. It is called, the website is called Trump Accountability Project. So I will look that up and judge it for yourself. So the other Democrats totally disagree with that accountability project as well. So now there's a division within the Democratic Party. The Democrats will face significant backlash for this, and as per usual, they've gone way too far. A former senior administration official told the Political is a website where you can see a lot of these political parties with their voices and their opinions as well. Making a list of your political enemies and promising that they will get paycheck and people will go after them because they work for a different political party is literally fascism. So these were some of the outreach from the other Democratic Party that did not agree with what their parties are making a mission out of. So, and with that being said, with Joe Biden coming to unite this country, I doubt it's going to play out well, okay? Because with these claims that are being made, I don't see Joe Biden making that work at all, to be honest. And this country will not be united at all. It's not going to be united. There's going to be a lot more allegation coming out, a lot more prosecution, and a lot more backslash from the Democratic Party as well, as they open up their own lawsuits as well. And there will also be a lot of division, including the citizens, you know, depending on if you really want to side with one party. Now, continue on. You know, you can't, we're not all going to blame the people and all the people who are fighting for a party and not understanding exactly what they're fighting for. Big tech plays a huge role. Now, if you guys remember the last days of before the election, there were $2 million that were raised in 2 days by the Democratic Party and went towards all these big techs and the press corporate media as they continue to cover as much as they can to support their candidate and suppressing anything about Trump. So this is all about attacking Trump. This is all about hating Trump. And the media have done their job, and they have done a huge job from the time he started in the office until now. With Fox News, just last few days ago, started to collapse. So I noticed Fox News is divided. They are a conservative mainstream media who are not sure where they stand at this point, and also some who actually still stand their ground as a conservative media. The first news network to call out Arizona and calling out Arizona again on Thursday while the votes are still on recount. After the press viewing of Kayla McKinnon, Fox interrued and cut away from Trump's fraud claim. Well, that didn't look too good that night. So if you guys heard of the press claim by Kayla McKinnon, as I mentioned earlier, she was basically pointing out all of the allegations, the affidavit that were signed, and all of the claims that are coming out. And Fox interrued and decided the world did not have to hear that, okay? Because they're still standing their ground, which I'm not going to say the whole entire Fox, the half of the Fox that is divided, to say there's no evidence. So this is an undermining belief that, you know, Trump is pushing a battle that he cannot win. And some of the Republicans and the conservative media are having a really hard time for him to actually even succeed or prevail in court with all of these allegations. So Fox has been completely unfair and untruthful. These are some of the people who have responded to Fox News. One user said earning a shout out of the soon-to-be former U.S. president has 89 million Twitter followers, and they all moved to Newsmax. So Newsmax is now the new mainstream media that everybody has turned to. They are pretty much the only mainstream media that is reporting on both sides, and also reporting on what's going on Donald Trump, and even the last briefing that he gave about COVID-19, they cover that as well. So a lot of these big tech that were bought and paid off with large sum of money, it's a battle. So they're gonna do everything they can to make sure you don't hear what Trump is saying, but let's listen to what the Democrats are saying. So continue on, and while Fox News division was acknowledged Biden's victory, Newsmax and One America News Network is still hanging on to the election counts. So Newsmax and One America News Network are the only two that are hanging on to the election, while all the rest of the media have projected their winner and continue to celebrate on that as well. So those are the updates of what's going on with the political world. So the election still continues, and as the legal process still continues, we won't know until the court decide who will be the elected president. As I continue to look past to some of the elections, we had Al Gore and George Bush. Al Gore was announced by the media as the elect president, and after the Supreme Court looked at it and made the decision, gave the presidency to George W. Bush. Now, these are the things that we need to look back and question ourselves as our elections 2020 has become so similar to it. What is really happening? And it's also very important to really look into our own livelihood as well. What is best for us as an American? Do we want to live in an economy or in a system where we continue to live our lives and have safety and have children be able to go to school and get the right vaccination when it is ready, of course with COVID-19, and also to follow the procedures and the protocols as much as possible? Or do we want to get too caught up in the political world and fight for battles that don't even benefit us at all? What I have learned so far with this election, okay? If you guys type in the URL Antifa.com, you'll be surprised at what comes up, okay? It automatically transferred to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris website, okay? And the reason why I brought this up and I questioned it even more, when the presidential debate took place, Chris Wallace asked Joe Biden to denounce Antifa, and Joe Biden's response was it was an idea. It wasn't something he was going to denounce at all. It was just an idea. So now, to fully understand that it was just an idea, now the evidence is finally clear and right in front of us that Antifa is actually an organization to fund Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. These are the groups that are helping their campaign and their election, and in any way they possibly can to get the power of the White House, to get the power of presidency. And to question that even furthermore, I did a test yesterday and I was trying to send a message on Instagram, writing Antifa.com, and Instagram blocked it. Social media is blocking things like that. And it didn't cross my mind that it would even be an issue at all. But the moment they blocked it is where I started to question and say, why would they block it if it's just an idea? Why would they block it? Or if it's not a bad thing, you know? So these are the things you want to really look deeper into and study for yourself and know what is really going on in this country. Because what we are being told every day, it's like wolves in sheep's clothing, okay? You are being told, oh, it's okay, you know, we're making a change for our country, we're uniting and healing our nation, we're bringing the people together, but at the same time, you're poisoning the people of the nation. And so these are the things that left us in the open ground. And with Black Lives Matters, I never really looked into it or really wanted to fully understand what Black Lives Matter is. It was a brilliant idea that was brought out in the beginning that this would be supporting Black lives and making Black lives better, okay? But at this point, it's not all about Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is used to put these people in power. And these are the same things we've been seeing for decades from the Democratic Party, when all they have done is do everything in their power to get the presidency, and they will use blacks, they will use minorities, they will use the Latino pretty much any immigrant in this country in order to get the votes and to get in the power. And then what happens after that? Nothing happens. Nothing happens. This is why half of the black voters and the Latino voters, majority of them that went towards Donald Trump, recognize that, and they acknowledge that it's not going to do us any good. Okay? When we had the Antifa and the far left that were destroying those cities, what did that do? It only made the community 10 times even worse. Marching and protesting is our command. It's something we have the right to do. We have the right to peacefully protest. We have the right to have our voices be heard. But we have gone too far left to not even believe or trust anymore and feel like we have to be radical to destroy our cities. We have to be radical in order for our voices to be heard. There's a saying, evil never prevails. Revenge never gets you anywhere. It only backslash. Okay? Revenge, period. As God said, the vengeance is mine. The vengeance is of the Lord. All right? And I believe the only way we're even going to bring change to the blacks and the minority community to even understand that we can't be used anymore by the Democratic Party in order to gain the power is to really start acknowledging the truth. The truth is the only way out. Okay? New York, Chicago, all those large cities, Baltimore, that have been a desolate for many decades, years, and who are suffering the most? Black people. Okay? And these democratic people that we are now out there marching in the street for and burning our cities for have not done anything to change those cities. They have not done anything to make anything better. And I know there's a lot of people that will still say, oh, we can't go with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a bigot. He is a racist. He is this. Well, I decided to really go into full research, and I went with fact checkers. The left use fact checkers the most, and I come to recognize they only fact check, okay, the false narrative of the Democratic agendas, okay? But I went and fact checked Donald J. Trump. Did he really said that I will send all the Africans back to Africa? Fact checkers claim it was false. It was completely false. And deep stuff like that, we don't even look into it. We just automatically take what the media said and we run with it. It's easy. We take the easy way out. Right now with this battle going on in this country, there's no more easy way out. This is it. This is it for America. It's not even about Joe Biden anymore. It's not even about Donald Trump anymore. It's about our rights. It's about our freedom of rights. It's about the reason why we immigrated in this country. It's about the reason why we are here. America is a great nation, and it's just a matter of the time. We are going to lose this nation, and it will not be any difference from China Communist Party, because that's what the Democratic want. And anyone can disagree with it, but the evidence are there. It's up to you to search deeper. It's up to you to look deeper and really see what is going on. That's my deepest message I really want to set out there. You know? Whoever wins, I believe it is God's will. If Joe Biden wins the presidency, I believe it is God's will. Because all of these people who have thought that, oh, maybe this is it, maybe this will be the change, let's give him the power. Well, get ready, because Joe Biden will rule this country, and you will see all the dirt they have been sweeping under the rug for the next 4 years. And I believe God is going to allow this to happen because the people need to wake up and they really need to see the truth. Okay? If Donald Trump wins, He is saving all of you, even all of those who have not even seen the truth at all. That's really all I could say. So, all right. Continue on with the election. It'll be decided in court. So we'll find out who's going to be our United States president. So I believe whatever happens, whatever God decides for this wonderful nation, have a good night.
Pour toutes vos informations en politique, en économie, en sport, en santé, retrouvez Yves Kenao sur Tempo Afrique TV, la station de l'éveil du continent africain.
Du nouveau à Minneapolis, Tempo Afrique Travel. Vous voulez voyager? Achetez vos billets d'avion à l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel. Avec l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, pas de problème de connexion, pas de problème de transfert de vol. Avec l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, c'est le voyage en toute tranquillité, en toute beauté, de votre maison jusqu'à votre destination. Votre satisfaction est notre plaisir.